Hello, good evening. It's Michelle Thompson with Resistant Vision Coaching and Consulting. And I actually wanted to do a series of videos explaining what is resistant vision and how do we serve and why the way we do. So actually, I want to start with how I came up with resistant vision, what it means, what's the connection to it. Many of you know, not all of you, that I'm an historian. I'm a historian of 18th century Jamaica, and I follow the descendants of runaway slave communities called Maroons, and I focus particularly on the Occoquan Maroons. And in my research, which I continued to do well after I graduated, I noticed an interesting theme, and it dovetailed with in the United States debates about gay marriage and always the undercurrent of discussions about abortion. And in particular, I found, well, all right, let me start with the research. When I was looking at the primary sources of the Maroons, the Occoquan Maroons in this particular case, I was really curious about a theme that, even though they didn't necessarily articulate what their larger vision for what they wanted was, it was always present in their actions. So, my work will argue that their larger vision was to claim what they interpreted as what the treaty the treaty designated land holdings were. So the British claimed in the treaty it was only 1,500 acres. The Maroons claimed it was 15,000 acres. And so their whole everything they did was moving towards trying to reclaim land from Falmouth, which is 1 hour east of Montego Bay, all the way down to the southwest coast of Jamaica, which is a hell of a lot more land than they actually have right now. Which brings me, so that was the vision. So much of what the Occoquan Maroons did to make sure that the treaty wasn't overturned in this period was about resistance, and they changed the method of resistance. It wasn't outright warfare, but they were constantly and persistently resisting what the Jamaican government was doing. Resistant vision, right? It wasn't just resistance, it was vision. To tie it to nowadays, I personally was kind of crushed by the whole gay marriage debate, because it strikes me that GLBTQ communities, what our brilliance is to set up relationships in so many ways that are so outside of this one particular narrow box of one person, forever and ever, whatever, right? That we could actually figure out extended families, really beautiful extended families of people who may not be biologically related to each other, to raise children together, to grow old with together. And that is, I think, a big part of the promise of GLBTQ communities. And marriage doesn't do that. And so I saw that so much of the protests and so much of what we were doing to win marriage was fine, and it was a short-term win, but it didn't create a larger vision of what is possible for human beings. So that is where my heart is as I talk about resistant vision and what it actually means. So yeah, there's that little bit. I didn't talk about what it means. What it wasn't originally what I thought I was going to talk about today, but I thought that was a really important tidbit for you. All right, with that said, have a good day.